The brain is the most powerful tool humankind will ever have. For how easily it can be broken, it is remarkably difficult to be fixed. Meanwhile, as the brain is broken, it creates a story that can never be forgotten. Together we will capture these stories and share them with the world to relate and connect on real life battles. Join me as we enter into the darkest times of people's lives. I'm Jimmy Boyd, and this is Shattered Minds. No more fear. Hi, my name is Erik, and I'm 21 years old. I used to live with my mom and dad till I was 2 to 3 years old. Then they split up. I wasn't aware of it then, but my dad was a bad person. Seeing as at my birth he wasn't at the hospital because he was busy cheating on my mother, fucking another woman. Me and my mother stayed at my grandparents' home till I started school, when we moved for ourselves. I spent every other weekend at my father's place and my grandparents' place. I dreaded it every time when I went to my dad's, because he would scream in my face and call me a liar, even though I told no lies. I was always so excited to go to my grandparents' place, as they always cared for me. For me, school was hard. I was bullied for being fat and ugly. They thought it was so funny to agitate me because of how angry I would get, and I'd always take the bait and chase them around, but I could never reach them. I always ate lunch with the cleaners at my school, as I feared being bullied or being a burden to the others in my class. After years of going to my dad's and fearing his alcoholism, feeling bad for my brother who cried, because of him being sad for how different I was treated from my brother and stepbrother, he stopped contacting both me and my brother. During the weekdays, I was with my mother. She was cold, never paying attention to me, and always getting angered instead of comforting me when I fucked up. She started dating someone who became my stepdad. I did not trust him, and I hated him. As the years went by, my teachers told me that the wide smile I used to have was gone. But later, when I was 13, the bullying had subsided. When I was 16, my grandfather had died. I did not drop a tear as I didn't realize it till I was at his funeral. I cried my eyes out. My family members kept asking me if there was something they could do for me, but I could not answer. The man who had shown me love and taught me everything was suddenly gone. He had taught me compassion and love, that I should be the change I want to see, that kindness pays off, my values and morals. I still miss him. In school, I was demotivated. Long travels, no friends in school, and my will to try in school was gone. I started to doubt myself more, thinking I was a burden, and I blamed myself for not hugging my grandpa the last time I saw him, as he always asked for a hug from me before I left. I grew more distant from those around me. I dropped out of school, and I spent every day from morning to night playing games to get away from my thoughts. I got angry from playing games, screaming at those close to me as they told me to calm down, feeling I had no control. As I would later learn, my anger triggered my anxiety. Me not knowing what it is made me scared and confused, leading to more anger. I eventually started going to a therapist. I started sharing this new experience with my friends. They were very supportive. I was not able to share how I felt, what I thought, but seeing their support made me realize how important sharing was, and eventually, I started to open up more. I was diagnosed with recurrent depression and obsessive thoughts. I had long days of doing nothing, and it was tiring. I wanted change, and started to exercise and thought I was healthy. My suicidal thoughts were gone, My self-doubt was dimmed. I stopped going to a therapist because I didn't think I needed it anymore. Eventually, I met a girl that I fell in love with, stopped exercising because I wanted to play video games with her. I was thinking about her a lot and it made work difficult, and eventually, my obsession became self-destructive. She started dating my best friend, and they've been together ever since. My thoughts were back, so I started seeing a therapist again, where I was diagnosed with anxiety. I had a hard time taking the bus as I would get anxiety attacks, but I had to take the bus to get anywhere. I had to bring my headphones as they blocked out other stimulating things like sound, and couldn't go anywhere without them. I had worked so many times in practice positions, and I've had to quit every time because of how my thoughts had ruined it. I started smoking weed because it made my thoughts go away. I smoked more and more. At one point, I was smoking 2.4 grams every day. It was expensive, and I spent my days laying in bed, playing games on my phone. Eventually, I started working again, but I had to quit again because I couldn't come to work either because I was too high or too scared to leave my house. I felt my room had become both the safe space and my prison. I thought that if I were to stop smoking weed, I'd die from my suicidal thoughts being too much to handle. But eventually, enough was enough. I started smoking very small doses compared to before, and since my resistance was so high, I didn't see the point of smoking weed, so I quit. My thoughts were once back again. Thoughts of being alone, feared of being never loved, thoughts of me asking, why am I like this? Thoughts about killing myself because I wanted to escape the pain, the anxiety, the days where I felt non-human, as I felt nothing. But I used these thoughts to my advantage, thinking more in depth about my problems, making me learn more about myself than ever before. I stopped asking myself why I was like how I was, and started accepting it. I started on a course in motivation and self-mastery, where I was pushed to challenge my fears and myself. We were supposed to go out to visit a cafe. I was terrified, and when we got there, I was more amazed than anything while we were there. After seeing how things were bigger and scarier in my head than reality had shown, I realized that I wanted to challenge myself more, make the uncomfortable comfortable. I took more and more small steps. My weeks went from me having nothing to do to courses and therapy, and today, I'm in a practice job, reflection groups, therapy, and now I'm an assistant on the motivation and self-mastery course. I went from drawing to help me express myself to smoking weed to get away from my problems, to facing my fears, talking openly about the new perspectives of newfound thoughts on how to handle them. This Christmas was challenging because I had no one to celebrate with. I was depressed and stood on a bridge because I was considering to jump, but I endured. I'm grateful because of my past, because it has made me who I am, and I wouldn't be where I am today without it. I still experience anxiety, doubt, and suicidal thoughts from time to time, and even though I'm in a good place now, I know another depressive period will come. But I know now the tools, endurance, and support that will help me get through it. I am no longer controlled by fear. No more what ifs, because I know now that life has more to offer. I've taken many steps during this last year, both big and small, but I have many more to take, and for the first time ever, it does not scare me. This is the end of story. No more fear. This message is to anyone listening to this story. Here you have one of the most wonderful stories. I think I'm most grateful to hear these stories when there's success in the end. It puts a smile to my face when I hear that someone who went through such excruciating pain actually fought back and won their battles. It's stories like this that are the best example of how we should all be. We should always fight through our struggles and not let them control us. Before you begin to fight back, you must know that you will really need to dig deep. You will bleed. You will feel pain. You will cry, as this will not be easy. Fighting back against the mind is one of the toughest things we can ever do in our life. There's a saying I really like is, sometimes the scariest place we can be is in our own minds. I've chosen to reflect on this quote once again, as I think it fits really well with this story. The greatest part of all is this person won in their story. I also have a direct message to the anonymous writer. I want to thank you for sharing this beautiful story. I really want to acknowledge you for your success with all my viewers, because you are living proof today that miracles really do come true. Sometimes, when we are in the worst position we can ever be in, miracles really do happen, and people achieve amazing things and win every day. I'm very sorry for all the things you experienced. I think this is one of the first stories we have received that talks more extensively about bullying, and I want to elaborate a bit on this subject. As we all know, bullying is a terrible thing. It really ruins people more than we think. Picking on someone else for their differences in the way they act, speak, or look is completely unacceptable. We need to continue to voice bullying more to the world so we can finally find a solution to this ongoing horrific problem. It breaks my heart to hear people speak about bullying and being made fun of. I was made fun of a lot as a kid, and I know exactly how you were feeling, or did feel at some point. We all need to think twice about making fun of others, because what someone once told me, you never know what that person's struggles may be at that very moment. It's hard to imagine that people have problems, and sometimes we don't even realize that some of those around us are suffering greatly. And by you bullying them, you're making their life that much more miserable. Please think again before deciding to bully someone. To the writer, I wish you all the best, and I appreciate you sharing your story here today on Shattered Minds. Finally, I would like to say, to all my viewers, thank you for choosing to listen to this story. I would now like to give you all a few words of wisdom and courage for any of you that are going through a rough time right now. Let's all have a moment of silence. Sit back, relax, and close your eyes. You are the strongest person I know. You are beautiful. You are wonderful. You have the strongest courage of a mother lioness. You are smart. You are tough. You have a mind that is limitless. You can achieve anything you put your mind to. You are worth everything. You are not worthless. You are cared for. We, the Shattered Minds community, care for you. Others think about you. They miss you. They wish the best for you. They want you to be happy. I want you to be happy. I want you to tell yourself, you are the greatest person to ever be alive. You are worth this life. You were given a chance to serve a purpose. That purpose may not yet be revealed, but in soon time it will be. And when it does, you will be grateful that you chose to be here with us, and happy you kept your patience. your life will continue to unfold. It will bring you flowers, happiness, beautiful green, open fields, where you can be happy and just be yourself. Keep holding on just a little longer, and life will show you just how much you're worth. Don't stop fighting for your life. Keep moving, and you will make it. You will win. Thank you for watching.